get re-signed by Dallas. Speaking of contract talks, Terry McLaurin did not report to Washington Commanders training camp on Tuesday as his contract dispute with the team continues. The wide receiver is entering the final year of his 3-year, $71 million extension and is subject to a $50,000 per day fine for every session missed. Commanders general manager Adam Peters said on Tuesday that the team is going to do what they can to take care of Terry McLaurin. Adam Peters said, quote, "I think everybody in this building values Terry very much. We're going to do everything we can in order to get a deal done." And a little baseball news, the Nationals secured a series win by beating the Reds 6-1 last night. They're going to go for the sweep today, 12:05 p.m. early afternoon baseball right here on 106.7 The Fan. From the Crop Medcalf 5-Star Sports Desk, Savannah McCann on The Fan.
What up, everybody? It is 10 a.m. in the District of Columbia. Points north, south, east, and west. And we're back, baby. Football is back. Me and BMitch holding it down. Ashburn, Virginia, the first day of Commanders training camp. Good morning, Brian. How do you do?
I am great. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. We're here. We're in the tent. We're back in business, dude. We're on the stream. There's random people behind BMitch in the stream. If you're watching, that's Gio and Derek and Greg. Greg loves being on camera. You know what, B? The last, 36, 48 hours for Commanders fans have had some headaches. You got the President of the United States talking about the team name, something that some people care about greatly. Some people have a significant amount of tired, you're tired of it. You've got stadium BS where maybe it's happening, maybe it's not. Everybody's fighting. You got Terry McLaurin not being here, officially a holdout. But you know what is good for all of that? You know what is vital for all of that? Watching Jaden Daniels throw a football.
Yeah.
No better medicine in the world, baby.
Or just realize we live in an area where we got all kind of BS happening all the time, and you should be used to it.
Is DC, you think DC's the BS capital of the world?
Hell
it might
yeah.
be.
Hell
At least
yeah.
the United States.
Because I don't care if it's something that's positive or not. We're going to have somebody say it's not. They're going to have an argument about it. So learn to just go with the flow. Let it happen.
So it became official yesterday after our program that Terry did not report to training camp. They opened they put out their first roster today. Terry is on the did not report list. It's the reserve did not report list. Cosby's on the PUP list. Timothy McKay on the NFI. You and I have, you even more than me, but I think we both try to remind people how much time they have to get stuff done. And this is hardly a death sentence. Nothing means Terry couldn't be here by Friday, right? And I thought Dan Quinn this morning just absolutely nailed his comments.
Yep.
And we're going to get those for you shortly. But to summarize, DQ's like, listen, of course I wish he was here. I want everybody here. But this is the business of football. This is not uncommon. And I think as much as some folks are pissed, upset, whatever it is, like, you got to try to keep the big picture in mind. And I just think, specifically Dan Quinn said, I don't judge it or get too worked up about it. It's part of the business of our league.
That's what it is. And I think if you watch Dan to me makes me not get too overly concerned. Because he's the coach who wants the guy to be here because, you know what, his job rides on how well his players play. And Terry McLaurin can help him keep his job for a long time. So when he doesn't get worked up, why should I? And I think that the ultimate thing is this is like watching the soap operas. We all know the soap operas are fake, but we all take one side or the other, do we not? We watch a lot of these supposedly reality TV.
I watch them.
That's a lot of scripted BS. Okay, it's not reality.
I've been watching McBee's Dynasty. You watch that?
Scripted BS, okay? And we take a side. Because you know what? As human beings, we're lazy as hell, And we always just feel everything is the end of the world. It's just going to mess up. Nothing that's happening with Terry right now is going to affect any one of us personally, to be honest with you. As much as fans want to believe it does not affect your bottom line. So Terry's going to roll in here eventually or not. And still, you got to get your ass up and go to work the next day, or you will not go to a job because you don't have one. You're going to be looking for one. It won't change nothing about you.
I thought this was really honest from DQ. Asked about, one of your best players isn't here. He said, do I love it as a coach? No. I want every player on the field all the time, but I'm really comfortable where he's at. I think
because he's talked to Terry along the way, and this is where the head coach has to straddle.
Yeah.
The situation. Yes, front office gives him players to play with, but ultimately he's connected to those damn players. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say too much to Terry. I can't say too much about what's going on. His position has to be down the middle for the most part, and he plays it well. And the thing about DQ, I don't think he's playing per se. I think that's who he is.
Totally.
He understands the dynamics, and he let the dynamics handle themselves. He doesn't try to make them more than what they are, or talk them up or talk them down. He understands what the dynamic is, and that's why he can stay so damn calm.
Totally. And I got a photo sent to me this morning that has gone way more viral than I expected. I didn't expect, Rappaport to quote tweet it, but Terry's in Virginia. He went to yoga in Ashburn. So Terry also has a home here. Maybe it's not weird. Terry could be training in Florida. Here's what we know with Trey Hendrickson and his holdout in Cincinnati, right? Trey Hendrickson had been in the Cincinnati area. Diana Rossini spoke to him and had this as a story for The Athletic. Trey Hendrickson working out in Cincinnati. Training camp was coming. He and his wife were like, you know what? I don't want to be a distraction. Let's go to Florida. These guys can work out anywhere. There are gyms everywhere. But Terry's here doing yoga.
He's here doing yoga. Whether Trey is in Cincinnati or not, it's basically a distraction because there are news people everywhere. Everywhere someone goes, you think they are not recognizable. They're some of the best players in the league. Terry, Trey. Someone is going to take a picture and send it out, and it's going to be all over the internet. So no matter what they do, it's going to be that. That's just what the world is today. I refuse to become that part of the world. If he's working out, that's all that matters to me. If they show me a picture of him doing something to get himself better, ditto, cool. I don't care anymore after that.
I have, of my list of concerns, and, getting this contract done at some point becomes a concern. I think right now it's not. On my list of concerns, however, Terry being in shape is 0.0.
Right, it's not a problem.
Not at all.
It's not a problem at all. And I think that's the thing about it. We argue about him getting a contract because we know what he's about. But we'll lose our mind when someone posts something that we expect him to be doing. Well, others lose their mind. I refuse. I am taking this thing, no matter which way it goes, I'm going to probably be the same way. Because ultimately at the end, they have to do what's best for them, not what's best for you and I. Not what's best for the fan that think that because he cheers it's going to make a difference. It makes a difference on the football field, but you're not going to make these owners make a decision.
I think there's a number of factors involved. I thought David Aldridge had a really good column yesterday in The Athletic, and I tweeted out a portion of it. A lot of fans, dude, you should talk to Tischler, so Mitch and I recorded a podcast yesterday, and he was mad, mad. And he said something that I really pushed back on, this is one of the biggest mistakes this operation has made in 20 years. And it is far too early to make those sorts of proclamations. And
Mitch, get off the weed. You cannot say what the hell is going on. Negotiation right now is worse than what Dan did in the last 20 years.
Dude, that's
you
what
are
I
out
said.
your damn mind. You are a psychopath if you believe that.
I think he was emotional in the moment, and we kind of
well, he needs to get off that moment because he is on something.
I think you hear, just pay him, just pay him, just pay him. And
That's because people don't understand.
Fans are operating from this spot where they've seen all the stuff Terry's gone through, right? For 6 years, he's been the best player, face of the franchise. It's been awful. He deserves it. That's not the spot Adam Peters is arriving at. And for people that are like, man, Josh Harris owes it to Terry, that's the exact opposite of what you want. That's what Dan did. He had his favorites, and he just paid them regardless.
Yeah.
And not only does that upset your salary cap dynamics, whatever, right? It also upsets the dynamics of your locker room when certain players know they can go to ownership. And, like, that ain't the way. But let the football people run the football.
You can say they owe it to him all you want. There is a part of it that's called negotiations.
Right.
And sometimes that gets a little nasty. And one thing I can tell you, every time I've seen negotiations, they normally get nasty. But you know what happens at the end? Everybody act like nothing ever went down. You know? So you can't get too tied up into it. And yes, I know people like to do it, and it's my right. It's my right to tell you that you just look like a damn fool, too. Because a lot of people, I hear the things they're saying, I'm like, dude, you don't have a clue of what you're talking about. You don't have a clue of what really goes into this. And I am so sick of people trying to make this thing like their lives. Your personal life has nothing to do with what the hell a NFL contract has to do with. So I don't care if you're a media guy, radio, TV, what the hell ever, regular fan. Who cares if you had to live out your contract? Because you know what? You didn't exceed your contract. I promise you.
What are you talking about? The people that are saying he's got a contract, just play to it?
Well, I don't like the people that does it with the contract. Shut the hell up. Stop trying to do it because you know what? If you could, you would. You just can't.
People act like they don't look for other jobs while they have a job. Why do you think, what is it, Indeed.com? Indeed.com seems to make a lot of money. They got a lot of advertisements.
I hear things.
Hold on. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in this tent right now.
Uh-huh.
No BS. Of the 6 of us in this tent, how many people you think have looked for another job in the last month? Nobody has put their hands up. We're on camera. Shout out to at least one person was honest over here.
I'm honest. I'm always looking for jobs. Hell, and what's wrong with having multiple jobs at one time?
Hey,
let's be real. Hell,
I'm not complaining.
You just like the dudes from Living Color. You got 15 teens jobs.
Jamaican man. All right. Well, Terry's not here. It doesn't mean he'll never be here.
You know who's here though? 90 people that's going to be practicing trying to make this team better.
Sure.
You got a bunch of coaches here that's trying to push forward. But you know what? Terry's mind is here. Terry knows when he steps in here, he has to be ready. And if it was another player who was a little aloof, a little out there, I probably would be a different dude. We're talking about Terry McLaurin here. Okay? And I like that statement that you said Mitch made, it throws me because these people have been nothing but quality dudes since they stepped in here. And if somebody has to negotiate something, and it gets a little hard when you're negotiating, nothing good comes easy. I'm sure people heard that before. Nothing good comes easy. So if they got to battle a little bit, and somebody going to get their feelings hurt here, feelings hurt there, hell, I've cursed out coaches. I've cursed out front office people. I could dap them up today and hug them.
I've seen you curse out some of our bosses.
Bro, I can call Andy right now and be cool. Me and Andy had some knockouts. But the whole thing about it is you gain respect when you go through situations like that. Nothing, I guarantee you, the people you love today, you probably had some of the worst arguments with.
Sure.
So
that's part of
when
marriage.
When anybody out there that start going, man, they doing this wrong, I'm sure your wife or your husband or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever has pissed you off to a level you didn't want to see their damn face. But you still love them, don't you? Mm-hmm. Same thing can happen here. Relax.
You know what?
I'm not going to say Aaron Rodgers again.
Yo, you're like really turning into a Rodgers guy.
Hell to the no.
You're becoming a big Rodgers guy.
No.
I think it's a very interesting time for.
Chick, you're an idiot.
So I think we all just got to chill and give it a little time. I don't think any of this is the end of the world. I understand folks are upset with the Terry situation. They're going to figure it out. Mark Seagraves is going to join us in moments. At 10:30, Mark Seagraves is going to join us to discuss developments in the RFK Stadium situation, but I did want to tell a quick story.
Okay.
So Dan Quinn talked this morning at 8:30, right? And it's the first day of training camp, but Lauren had to go to work today, and I had no options on it. So the earliest the babysitter could get to the house was 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I get, babysitter gets there, talk for a little bit, and then I leave. So I'm on the road at like 8:15, and I'm trying like hell to make up some time, B.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to get here. Clearly I'm not getting here. I'm trying to park as close as I can.
Oh, you damn near parked inside the gate. I hope you can get out of there. Somebody else will pull in front of you. You look like you can't move now.
I don't know that I can move because I realized I was too far down and tried to throw it in reverse. So might need your expertise. I have four-wheel drive. I didn't have time to like mess with it. And
I'll just say this, dog. You don't have to be the closest to the building because I noticed you all on this beat. Y'all like try to be the closest.
I don't care about that. I was trying to make up time.
It's a whole other row on the other side of the street where you could have parked. Where I parked, right next to Chick. You could have parked 8 spots on the left side of Chick. Guess who was over there? Nobody.
But you're on the left side?
I'm on the left side. You pulled all the way
I was trying
over.
to hustle in to get the question in
You
for
are
DQ.
blocked out by a ditch, a big old flower bed area, and a hill.
The hill is my concern.
You may end up in the ditch.
I think I may not end up in it. I'm currently in it. So
You're not in it, but you close. I walked past.
Here's what we
I'm like,
need.
what is he doing?
It's vital that it doesn't rain before I leave here. And, I got to be here till like 4 o'clock.
Well, Greg, JP may need your big truck, dog.
Yo, so I was texting with Greg this morning, and I said, make sure you're listening because I might need a favor.
Yeah, you might need you this day, brother.
The Terry situation will unfold. I know a lot of fans are worked up. I think you're so right. I think an 8-figure check will kind of clear up any concerns that may exist. It does sound like we have really positive momentum on the stadium, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Seagraves from NBC4 is going to join us at 10:30. Then we're going to hear from Neil Greenberg, our boy, at 11. I'm very curious about this latest Seagraves stuff because I'm not sure I fully understand it, but it sure seems like it is very good news.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a fan of RFK, I also think the council doesn't want to have to hear any more from the president and just kind of wants to get this thing done. That's my hunch. I don't know.
I kind of felt like all that happened early. And it's coming, baby.
What I do know
Mm-hmm.
is if you're looking to buy or sell a house in the D.C. area, there's only one dude you should go with, and his name is John Leahy.
Just like a recent seller, they were thrilled to receive an offer on their house. Look, another agent told them that they could not make any money on this house, but they went to John Leahy, and he got them $20,000 over the asking price for their Silver Spring property. And also, it went smoothly. It had no stress. There were no setbacks, and the sale closed right on time. If you're looking for a guarantee in life, go and check out John Leahy's guaranteed offer right there on his website. You can get the ball rolling at johnsellsdmv.com. We're talking about our good friend John Leahy and the Fine Living Group of eXp Realty. That's John without an H. John offers you flexible fees customized to your needs, and he knows that life happens. So if needed, John will let you out of your contract at any time.
So here's the deal. I'm a little stressed out that my car might be stuck in a ditch. Sometimes when you move, it's a stressful situation. Maybe you got to move for a job. Maybe you got to move because you got laid off. Maybe you're getting a promotion. Maybe you're getting divorced. Whatever it is, it's stressful, and John Leahy and the Fine Living Group can relieve the stress for you. They are pros at this. They can help you with the mortgage stuff. They can get you the best rates. Whatever it is you need, they'll get your house sold fast. Call John today, 301-900-3052. Go online to johnsellsdmv.com, or what's even easier, just Google John Leahy Group and start packing.
This sports update is brought to you by Paul Henry's Window Installation, your clear home improvement choice. Wide receiver Terry McLaurin is officially holding out of training camp. The Commanders placed McLaurin on the did not report list early this morning, which sets the stage for daily fines of $50,000 until the wideout joins the club to prepare for the 2025 season. He has opted not to report because obviously he wants a new contract with the team as he enters his final season of a 3-year, $71 million extension. Washington also announced that guard Sam Cosmi has been added to the physically unable to perform list. He tore his ACL in the team's playoff win over the Lions. Both players can be activated at any point throughout training camp, although the timing of Cosmi's injury likely means he's going to be out for a while, but you have to hope that's not the case with Terry McLaurin. From the Crop MedCap 5-Star Sports Desk, Savannah McCann on the Fan.
BMitch and Finlay live, Ashburn, Virginia, Commanders training camp. Going to be a busy day, folks. Jaden Daniels going to speak to the media today. DQ spoke earlier. Bobby Wagner's going to talk. Plenty of football for you. But football's not the only thing going on, man. We also are chasing this story. Mark Seagraves from NBC4 joins us. Mark, what is the latest with RFK Stadium?
Hey, JP, Brian, thanks for having me on again. So it looks like the council chairman has reached a deal with the Commanders that will clear the way for Chairman Mendelson to call for the council to take a vote on the overall legislation as early as the 31st of July. So this is good news again for anyone who supports this deal, the mayor, the team. We don't have the specific details of the negotiations between Mendelson and the Commanders, but we can expect that there are some changes to the financial arrangement about revenue sharing, tax implementation, things like that, not about the big dollar stuff, how much money the team puts in versus how much money the city puts in. But again, we know that Chairman Mendelson and team officials have been meeting face-to-face for weeks, and my reporting is that they have now reached an agreement that satisfies Mendelson's desire to, in his words, make it a better deal for the residents of D.C. and allows him to call for a vote again as early as the 31st of July, which would be the day after the 2 days of public hearings.
And is that vote on will the deal go through, or are they just saying that they're voting on the specific situation that they're in at this point?
So we have yet to see, what the terms are that Mendelson has negotiated. And I have not spoken to other council members to see if they've been briefed by Mendelson on these negotiations and whether they agree. Look, we have known since this deal was first announced, there seemed to be enough votes on the council to pass the deal. The question is, do these changes satisfy what all the each individual council members want? So right now, I think it's shaping up to be a 10-2 vote in favor of the deal.
And they need 7 to get the deal passed, right?
That is correct. Right. They only need 7. So they have a few that they can lose if they had to. Remember, there are 13 members of the council. There is one empty seat because of Trayon White being expelled. He was recently voted back on, but he won't be sworn in until the earliest, the 9th of August. So I believe the first vote would take place before Councilmember White is back on. He would be back on in time for the second vote, but again, he would not be a swing vote either way, regardless of how he votes. I believe they will have 7 votes at least to get this passed.
We're talking to Mark Seagraves about the Chairman Mendelson changing some of our financials on the thing to try to get this vote through. The question I have is a lot of people understand that you got to have a vote. If they go through it one time, what's the second vote for?
So this is just basically the parliamentary procedure that every legislature has in the country, whether it be your county, your city, your state, everything basically, gets a second vote. In some legislatures around the country, they take 3 votes before it's official. And there are tweaks in between the first vote and the second vote. There is the ability to change, make amendments, clean stuff up, and that's, we see that often. But rarely do we see huge changes or things failing on the second vote that passed on the first vote. It's usually just a period of time for the public to comment and the council members to iron out anything that comes up on the dais during their debate that, leaves them with questions and lack of clarity that they can address during that time period. But that's just on every bill the district government passes. Again, and this is not unique to D.C., they take 2 votes. What is unique to D.C. is that every piece of legislation that after they have their second vote and after the mayor signs it, it goes to Congress for Congress to approve. Now, Congress doesn't have to take action to approve. They would only take action if they want to disapprove. If they approve it, they just do nothing. They just passively let it go into law. But there is a review period on Capitol Hill that gives Congress the ability to block it. And we've seen that happen in recent years, most notably with the massive crime bill several years ago that the D.C. Council passed. Mayor Bowser objected to it. Congress, led by Republicans, but also joined by Democrats and President Biden at the time, a Democrat, voted to overturn that law. So Congress can intervene in that way. I don't suspect that would happen in this case. They want this deal done. They've made that clear. Chairman Comer, who chairs the Oversight Committee in the House and has been a big proponent of this deal and getting the land transfer done, made it very clear to Chairman Mendelson and the public that he wanted this done by August, or he would consider intervening in a legislative way. They're on recess now. The House is on recess now. When they come back, this will all have been taken care of, and I don't believe Congress.
Well, Mark, this thing seems to be going in the right direction, but we hear a lot of talk out there. Can anything mess this thing up?
Oh, of course, it's Washington, D.C. Anything could happen, right? It's sports and politics and big business all combined in the same sandbox. So certainly it's, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, right? Let me see how many sports metaphors I can abuse in this short. So certainly something could happen, right? We've seen the president, weigh in just some really bizarre ways in the past week or so, most notably over the name change. But my suspicion is that they won't. There is the majority will here is that it gets done, that a stadium gets done, that the Washington football team comes back to Washington, D.C., builds a world-class dome stadium that can attract massive events beyond just football, and as the mayor says, be the catalyst for that waterfront 175 acres along the Anacostia River. So, again, it's not done until it's done, but so far we have really been moving incrementally, maybe not at the pace that the mayor and Josh Harris had hoped for, but given how government typically works, and again, not unique to D.C., just any government passing any legislation, but particularly the largest public-private partnership in the history of the city, more than $1 billion in D.C. taxpayers going out the door on this. This is moving really fast. And so, and it's moving in the direction that the team and the mayor wanted to move in.
Yeah, Mark, it's like a lot of time we speculate on what could be here or how much stuff can happen. Have you checked into the type of things that could possibly a new stadium in that area can attract, other than the things we throw out like the Super Bowls and, Final Fours, things of that nature?
So, look, what the residents really want there are services, right? They want a grocery store. They want another metro station. They want a fire station. I can tell you that there have been, and I have reported that there have been talks between the team, the mayor, the council, that there is a need. D.C. hasn't opened a new fire station. I can't remember the last time they opened a new fire station. The population continues to grow. Now you're going to build an entirely new neighborhood. And so there is now talk of putting a fire station on that campus or nearby, a new metro station on that campus to serve their access to the waterfront. So those are the things that the residents are really worried about attracting. In addition to, yes, you want to get FIFA World Cup, you want to get a Final Four, you want to get WrestleMania or MMA or the Olympics or any of these big ticket, shiny things that stadiums attract. But I also think they want to see, everybody would want to see the stadium be active more often than it's not, similar to Cap One Arena that has more than 200 events a year and is vital. Remember what the outcry we heard from the business owners around Capital One when it looked like they may move to Virginia, and Ted Leonsis famously said in my interview, his constituents aren't those businesses, his constituents are the team and the fans, and that was really going to hurt downtown if they left. And so they're looking for that same kind of economic shot in the arm. Now, look, there are a lot of people who argue you don't need a stadium to build a new community and to create jobs and to get a supermarket and to attract affordable housing. That can be done without the anchor of a stadium. But a stadium is what it's going to be the anchor. And so one of the things I know many council members are concerned about is the pace that housing would be built around the stadium, right? I mean, the planners have made it clear, the mayor's made it clear, job one, break ground, build a stadium, open it by 2030, and then the parking garages, and then everything else comes after that. And people are concerned that there's not a strict enough or not a well-defined timeline of when housing and how much affordable housing would be built and when it would be built. And I think those are the kind of things that you're going to see that Mendelsohn is probably negotiating on. Housing and benchmarks for when housing could be built, and then just the finances. Again, not how much money each side is being put up, but just kind of in the weeds, the minutia of how that money is spent, where it goes, what bucket in the government it goes to. Those are the kind of things that they'll try to tweak around the edges, I imagine, not so much, the overall dollar value of the deal.
Well, I hope they understand that having a fire department in that area makes a lot of sense. But I also hope that the people understand that if you're trying to build a stadium that's going to hold 65,000 people and put parking around it, it's very hard to be doing a lot of other stuff until you have that foundation of that set. I understand that it's like a cliche, but if you don't build a foundation of something, it won't stand very long. If the stadium is going to be the foundation, you need to get that built then going. This shouldn't stop the stadium from being built, though. I really believe where they have a lot of meetings. They have a lot of votes. Well, knock that out. As soon as the stadium is built, this is next. And then you go from there. But don't hold up the stadium, because if it's held up, then everything else is held up.
Yeah, I mean, you're preaching to the mayor's choir on that. I mean, that's exactly what she's saying. That's exactly what the team is saying. The key word that you used there is foundation. We know now from looking at the details of the deal that the foundation of the stadium is part of what the city will be building with their infrastructure investment. And there's a great unknown there because this is so close to the river. And this is the thing that concerns a lot of people. If you read the Bob, the former city administrator under Mayor Williams, who helped negotiate bringing the Nationals to town, wrote a report for the council about the pitfalls and the concerns with the present deal. And one of the things he made very clear in his report to the council that has been made public now is the fact that there's this great unknown. Once they start digging in the ground, that's why they don't want to have underground parking, right? Because you're so close to the river, they don't know how far down they can go, and they don't know what they're going to find when they get down there. And that is a concern when it comes to cost overruns, particularly when the public money, the D.C. government is responsible for building that foundation of the stadium. If they start digging down there and laying concrete for a foundation and find out, that there's water down there or there's toxic waste down there, we don't know, right? We just don't know until they start digging into it and they get RFK down and they start doing that. But, trust me when I tell you that foundation is a word that you're going to be hearing a lot of over the next year or so.
Well, Mark, man, I hope they find out exactly what the foundation is going to be and they can get it done. I appreciate you giving us some time, man. Thank you very much.
It's always fun to be with you guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Mark Seagraves joined us here on BMitch and Finlay from NBC4. We're going to take a quick break here. We get back. What do you think about the stadium? My whole thing is that I believe it's going to be coming. But you know what? We're still worrying about a contract. We got a stadium, everything going on. JP and I will start touching just about everything out there when it comes to Commanders. BMitch and Finlay, 106.7 The Fan. We'll be right back.
Jaden Daniels just spoke to the media. If you haven't heard of him, he's the Commanders' starting quarterback, offensive rookie of the year, Heisman Trophy winner. Frankie Louvu just told me 5 is the truth, which I think is a pretty accurate sentence. Jaden got asked about Terry McLaurin missing day 1 of training camp, and he said, whenever that time comes and he's back on the field, I don't think we'll miss a beat.
They probably won't.
Sound about right to you?
I'm with that.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, Landfill's got some audio for us to listen to. This, I believe, is Peter Schrager from Good Morning Football, right? Talking about the Terry McLaurin situation. Why don't you get us going here, Professor Landini?
Yeah, Adam had his press conference this morning and was very top line. We want Terry in camp. We appreciate Terry. These conversations are ongoing. But let's really peel the onion back here. This has been the first piece of adversity in Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, and Josh Harris's entire tenure when it comes to the football team on the field, where there's actually an unhappy player with his contract. And this one's tough because McLaurin is the bridge from the dark days of what this organization was before these guys took over and before Jaden Daniels got there. And he was Jaden's number 1 guy and has done everything you could possibly ask for from a veteran wide receiver. In fact, he wore the C as a wide receiver, which is pretty rare as the captain of the team, and is beloved. And Cliff loves him, and DQ loves him. All those guys love him. He's got a year left on his contract. He's looking at the numbers and saying, wait a second, I am not being paid what I'm deserved. That said, in a similar way as Trey Hendrickson, you look at the age, you look at the budget, you look at where we're going. They didn't account for an unhappy Terry McLaurin and a potential holdout from Terry McLaurin. They went and they got Deebo Samuel for a year. They got Laramie Tunzel. They went all in on those veterans thinking, okay, last year we put this together with a bunch of veteran pieces and we got lucky with a couple rookies and it worked out. It was great. Now we're going to ascend and we're going to go for it. Well, you can't go for it without Terry McLaurin on the field.
So I've been saying this a few different times. This is the first time for Harris and AP and DQ to try to get through a high-profile contract extension.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, they're probably going to be a little more judicious than maybe people are expecting. And because of the nature of the business, maybe Terry wants 34. And they're like, dude, we can't go over 30. Like, eventually you'd think rubber meets road and they figure this out. But I think you heard Dan Quinn, the head coach of the football team, say it today. Do I wish he was here? Yes. Is this the normal business of football? Yes. Like
head coaches think totally differently than a GM.
Oh, they have to.
Yeah.
Their job is to win every game.
So
AP has a much broader job.
Totally. He would want him here, but I think the one thing that you got to be careful with that age thing. And, you know, Terry got more pissed at that than anything.
That was the one, yeah.
Debo's 29. Tunzel came in here, and you traded for him. He's 30 or 31, right? So you can't say one person's age when you bring somebody else in at the same level. And I think when you look at the production that Terry has put out and Debo's put out, Debo had one unbelievable year, but he's not truly a receiver. He's a gadget guy in a sense. He can do multiple things. Terry has consistently been a damn good receiver for you. And there, like Gary Clark stated, there shows nowhere where there's been drop-off. So you can't just automatically – and I know people – I said it when I was playing, and I've been out of football now for 21, 22 years. You had to stop saying people at 30 – oh, he's 30 now. Who gives a damn? And I think it's something that media still pushes out there. When guys are playing beyond 30 every day, even with all this money out here. You know, my man Watt just got signed with Steelers. He's 30 or more, right? So I think that old narrative needs to leave because we talk about people coming in now, they're in better shape. They have more technology, all this stuff. If you know more to keep them playing better, why the hell are you still using the prehistoric excuse? And I know what they say, oh, look at the analytics and it shows this, it shows that. No. Ownership and general managers use that as an excuse, and they stop signing guys, stop wanting to sign guys for the money they're worth once they hit 30 years old, so they don't play more, or they begin to use them less, and it look like they're dropping off. If you actually play those guys more, they can still do the things they were doing the year before, 2 years before, but the teams don't utilize them like that anymore. And that makes the stats look how they want.
Didn't that happen to you? Didn't you get off to a hot start and then they stopped giving you carries or something?
They try to not let me make an incentive. That's what that was about. So it's all types of things, but I love, like, analytics don't work unless you put numbers in. And if you're putting the numbers in that you want to put in, you're going to get the results you want. Point blank.
Yeah, it's like whenever you deal with lawyers that, like, if you deal with lawyers that work for a company, you know what that lawyer's going to find is the answer that the company wants.
100%.
Like, oh, legally we got to worry about this, so we shouldn't do it. Or, yeah, the CEO wants this done, so here's the path to getting it done. Like, you can point to, excuse me, whatever numbers you want. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, now, obviously, Terry's looking to make a lot more money, and when that money would hit, he would be about to turn 31.
Okay.
But I don't think, the way I think this actually gets done, it's going to be guaranteed money when Terry's 31 and 32 years old. And by everything I've seen on Terry McLaurin, I don't expect any sort of fall off because he's 31 or 32. I just don't. Do you?
No, not at all. I mean, and that's the thing about it. Like, see, this is the thing.
But at the same time, I'm not mad at AP
why is it,
for running
I'm
his
not
football
mad for doing it, but why is it that analytics is always used to predict when somebody's going to drop off, but it's not used to predict when someone is going to continue to be? Like, is it not possible? Does analytics only work for the negative show me what's going to happen negatively in the future? Does it show me anything about what's possibilities and what can happen positive? See, I know it's what the world is today, but just like in anything, I've always asked questions.
But I also think
I just want to know.
The notion of a drop-off, the notion of regression. Mm-hmm. Terry had 13 touchdowns last year, right? Mm-hmm. What if he has 8? Is that a drop-off?
But see,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
you know why it would be a drop-off to a lot of people, Jay? People only look at the numbers. And analytics look at the numbers. We talk to Neil Greenberg all the time.
We're about to talk to him again.
And Neil basically says, you don't add in, the situation and circumstances of things. You just put the numbers in. And numbers only don't tell me any damn thing. Because as a former athlete, I know what they thought about me, my size, and what I could do. Everything I did was way above what the hell they thought could happen. Why? Because I had an internal drive that a damn analytics can't tell me S about. You understand? And a lot of people, Terry McLaurin, has that internal drive that analytics can't tell you nothing about. And that's why I get so pissed off at it, because we always go about, well, the analytics say this. Who gives a damn what the analytics say? That dude right there, if I put two guys with the exact same analytical output, but one guy is a dog and the other one, he likes to take it easy. That dude that's a dog gonna whip his ass on a consistent basis. So when analytics can add that to it, then maybe it will just run the world for me. But right now, I think a lot of people that played the game that understand that aspect of having a dog mentality, they balk at that crap.
Neil Greenberg joins us next. I got an idea for you. If you're going to call John Leahy and maybe sell your house, you should call the pros at Door Pro America first. They can set you up with a new garage door that will increase the curb appeal and functionality of your home. I know because they did it with me. I got a new garage door from Door Pro America, and it is fire. It makes my house look better and way, way easier to operate with the MyQ app. Door Pro America has been proudly serving the DMV for over 50 years, and they can do it all. Repairs, maintenance, installs, anything you need, they got it. Give them a call and ask how you can save big on repairs with a Door Pro Advantage membership, including annual maintenance to keep everything on track. Plus, right now, you can get $60 off any repair or a tune-up for just $89. Do what I did. Go with the pros at Door Pro America. Call 877-DOOR-PRO. That's 877-DOOR-PRO. Or visit doorproamerica.com. And be sure you tell them JP Finlay sent you.
Russell Wilson is the clear-cut starting quarterback as the New York Giants begin training camp. Coach Brian Dable told reporters on Wednesday, he said, quote, "These guys are going to be out here competing, but Russ is our starter." The Giants signed Wilson and fellow quarterback Jameis Winston in free agency, but they also selected Jackson Dart in the first round of this year's draft. So Jameis Winston, Jackson Dart can compete all they want, but apparently it's Russell Wilson's job to lose. Over in Cowboys camp, all-pro edge rusher Micah Parsons was with his teammates on the first day of camp. That's news because, well, he still doesn't have a contract extension ahead of the final year of his rookie deal in 2025. He said, quote, "There's not really much movement. I want to be here. They sign the checks like always. Let's see if they want me to be here at the end of the day." And speaking of, Terry McLaurin is officially holding out. The Washington Commanders wide receiver missed a conditioning drill at the start of training camp on Tuesday and has since been placed on the reserve did not report list. McLaurin's absence signals the start of a holdout as the two-time Pro Bowl receiver seeks a new contract. Amid a surging market with multiple receivers making more than $30 million annually, McLaurin is reportedly seeking that $30+ million per season amount. From the Crop Medcap 5-Star Sports Desk, Savannah McCann on The Fan.
Passed away yesterday.
I know. So I wanted to let it play a little, landfill. I wanted to wait to get Greenberg on to talk about this, honestly. Ozzy Osbourne passed away after a long, crazy life where he influenced so many. It's also wild to me because he had this persona. He was called the Prince of Darkness, right? And you hear his songs, and it's hard rock, and I think he lived hard.
He lived hard.
By all accounts, he was like a sweet, sweet man.
You can have one persona and be somebody else.
Just like you. Tough guy with a jelly interior.
I'm the same guy all the time.
You're nice. You don't always let the
I
world
am
know.
nice. I was taught to be nice, but I was also taught not to be a pushover.
I thought you were going to say a different word there.
What you going to say?
Joining us now is Neil Greenberg from the Washington Post. Greenberg, I want to give you the floor on Ozzy, man. As a true metal guy,
when I heard that yesterday.
Yeah, man. What did Ozzy mean to you?
He meant a lot. This might be tough for me to get through, but I've been listening to Ozzy since before I'm a teenager. He influenced so many of, if not all, the metal bands I listen to now, and have throughout my life. My kid, my firstborn, was singing Crazy Train when he was 2 years old. This is very much a man that defines like my music. My listening habits. And it was tough for me. I took a couple minutes yesterday while I was working because, it was sudden, and he's going to be missed. And like you said, he's the Prince of Darkness, but, he wasn't like this horror guy. He wasn't like a devil worshiper. If you saw the Osbournes, you saw what kind of person he was. Carrie Underwood covers his songs. His reach in the music world is vast and justified and just an icon. And, I can't thank him enough for all the joy he brought me all these years.
You got to play some crazy music sometime or whatever. But I watched how he and his daughter interact. And when a man can become that gentle around his daughter, I don't care what people say about him. It changes my mindset.
Yeah, he was a gentle soul. He had a persona, and he milked that persona, and he made money off that persona, and that's no different than what an actor does or anything like that. And his music was legit, and He brought entertainment to a lot of different people, whether that was through his music with Black Sabbath, as a solo career, his influence to other musicians, his reality show. His influence in the reality show world was vast. I mean, maybe as far-reaching as it was in the music industry. He was an icon. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. There'll never be another Ozzy Osbourne. It's just it was tragic.
Definitely. Talking with our friend Neil Greenberg here from the Washington Post. You can read all Greenberg's work in the Post. You can follow him at @ngreenberg. Of course, joining us via the Ruud guest hotline. Ruud makes the most reliable heating and air conditioning products in the DMV. How's your AC, Greenberg? You need us to set you up with Ruud? You need to talk to Jimbo?
It is so far so good, but with so much heat, you never know. But you will definitely be my first text. Yeah. If it ain't Ruud, it ain't right.
You're damn right.
You're right about that.
So, dude, training camp is here. These boys are ready. You could feel the excitement out there, and I don't think they are concerned about the Terry thing until we ask them about it, basically. Jaden Daniels just said, I'm not too worried. I think when he gets here, he handles his business. We won't miss a beat. I believe that. Do you?
I do. I think that the holdout is not concerning for me until we get much closer to actual games. These two players had a whole year to play together. The chemistry will be fine. Terry McLaurin's been in this league a long time. He's produced with every quarterback he's had, and some of them haven't been that great. So I don't really worry about that. I don't worry about the fines. They'll waive the fines once a deal is made. I'm not worried about that either. I am worried, though, about the disconnect between what the franchise might value McLaurin at and also the premium they're willing to pay for having the consummate commander on their roster. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and, contracts are for on-the-field and off-the-field stuff, and it sounds like to me they're only valuing Terry McLaurin for on-the-field and comparing him to other wide receivers at his age, which is fine to do, but there's a lot of lip service paid to the commander's tag and being a commander and what it means, et cetera, et cetera. And you simply cannot go through that checklist and not check every box off for Terry McLaurin. And that's got to be worth something. I don't know what that value is. I don't know if it's enough to get them from where Terry is to where the organization is and vice versa. But that to me is like the most interesting part of this whole thing. Like, what is that worth to the club, or is it just a bunch of lip service? And I feel like if they don't move in Terry's direction at all, it's a lot of lip service, and I don't think that's very good for the club.
But are we reading too much into it? Could it be just the verbiage later in the contract and not necessarily about the amount of money per year? Because a lot of times you hear all of the disagreements is straight about verbiage.
I think it's term. I think McLaurin, at this point in his career, wants to maximize his earnings coming off a career year, which makes a lot of sense. He's probably not going to get another chance at a big payday after this one. So I think that it makes a lot of sense. And I think it's term. I think it's probably less on the average annual value. I think we can all agree McLaurin's probably worth around $30 million a year. I think that's a reasonable estimate based on what the comparables are, both in his age cohort and also guys like DK Metcalf, Jared Anderson, et cetera. And I think it's the term, right? Is it 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years? And that does make a difference because he has another year on his contract, and wide receivers do decline after the age of 28-ish. So I think it's very real. So my guess is it's term more than dollars. But again, I mean, if McLaurin's not the guy you're going to reward for off the field, for the way he composes himself off the field, then who gets that? Like who do you point to and say that's our guy, that he embodies everything we want in a Commander's uniform? That's got to be worth something. You can't just say it and say, well, we don't value it, right? Like, you have to – now's the time for the organization to value it in some way, and I'm just not sure how much they value it and where it goes from here.
But does it mean overpaying to show that you value that? I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Listen, I believe Terry should get paid as well. But if you say he's worth 30, what if he asks for 34? You just pay it just because he fit those other bills?
It's a great question. Me personally, I believe that Terry is the guy that you overpay because of where you are in this rebuild life cycle. Right? You're at the beginning of it. And I get that Jaden Daniels is on a contract, and you're going to have to pay him as well. But that's what you get paid to do, man. That's your job. Your job is to figure out how all these pieces come together and how you continue to surround Jaden Daniels with good talent. If you lose Terry McLaurin, I get that you have Deebo Samuel, but after that, the drop-off is really severe. Like, you're going to have a wide receiver room that is not going to be well regarded around the NFL. So, yes, I do think that this is as much of an art as it is a science, and based on everything that you've said about the Commander's tag, like, you have to put your money where your mouth is literally at this point, and I do think that you have to give McLaurin a little bit extra above and beyond what you think he's worth on the field because you made that a big deal, and you want to show other people that, hey, this is a destination and we take care of our own.
So you're saying – if he's asked for 34, you give him $12 million more to make somebody believe that.
See, I
think
it's
you flip it over. But I'm saying, I'm throwing out hypothetical numbers. But what if the next player now thinks, oh, he did it, I could do it too? That's because that's what you mentioned yesterday, Jay.
The NFL salary cap is one of the most fungible items there are in the world of sports. Like, nobody knows what's real money or not, or I consider myself very math-oriented. I have no idea how the NFL salary cap works. So I think that's a problem for later years. Many teams kick that can down the road, restructure contracts, do all that other stuff. That's what you get paid the big bucks for. You wanted to be a GM. You know, this is your first test, in my opinion, your first true test of keeping a guy in-house that's valuable and well-respected, et cetera, et cetera. I do think you have to move. I think it's up to the organization to move in Terry's direction, not the other way around. I don't know how much movement that means, but I really do believe that the organization should be moving in Terry's direction.
Yeah, I landed at a place where ideally they land in a 50-50, right, where both sides are given a little. If I'm Adam Peters in the organization, I think for Terry I can get to a 60-40 split where we're giving a little more because we value him. I can't get north of that, though. And if this requires 65-35, I don't know that I can get there. But I also think they have a ton of time. Two other things I wanted to be sure to talk to you about while we have you, Greenberg. Talking with our friend Neil Greenberg. Give him a follow at @NGreenberg. Listen to his podcast every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on BMitch and Finlay. What do you think of Von Miller? Because I think that's really exciting, and they're going to ask him to have a very specific role, and it's going to work. I'm curious what you think.
I love it. I think that – he could be a difference maker in the situations that they use him. I liken him to a closer in baseball, not a starting pitcher. You bring him in special situations where you need a difference maker. I think he's shown he can do that. He's not going to play 80% of the snaps. He'll probably play 30 or 40. I think it's a great signing, and it's low risk, high reward. So I think it's great. I think that, if we're agreeing that the quarterback is the most important position on the field, then getting someone that can stop or disrupt the quarterback is the second most valuable, and I think Von Miller could fit that bill.
All right.
I agree with that.
I do too. I think especially for Joe Witt and Dan Quinn, who really are driven by creating turnovers, and Von Miller, it's one thing to get a sack, but that dude makes plays. He tips balls. He makes strip sacks. Like, if you can add more of that to this defense, I think could make a huge, huge difference. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And he's not a linebacker. He's Von Miller, and there's a big distinction between that when you're, like, talking about game plan, right? Like, you have to account where he is out on the field. He's not just some ordinary linebacker.
The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm going off the football field, a friend of mine, certainly a friend of yours, Dan Steinberg leaving the Washington Post. I saw your tweet about this the other day. Steins, for dudes my age and probably younger, completely changed how we absorb sports, DC sports, DMV sports, and then kind of the blogosphere changed everything. But Stein's a huge part of that. Obviously, he hasn't been writing for a while, so it's not like you're necessarily losing that. But it hit me, man. Like, Steins is such a big deal, and for him, I know that had to hit you too.
Yeah, I mean, I consider Steinberg a close friend. He sits right behind me in the newsroom. He was my editor for a long time. He's been my friend for much longer than that. He's the first person I ever followed on Twitter. And like you said, I mean, he changed the way we cover DC sports. I mean, he did it with humor and seriousness, and he embodied the fan angst better than anybody on the planet. And you could say that I'm biased, and that's fine, but I will die on the hill that Dan Steinberg is one of the most talented writers in sports ever.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
He belongs on a Mount Rushmore of DC sports writers, period. And it's a huge loss for us, and it's a loss that I can't really comprehend. It's a loss that
I want to be clear. I didn't want it. I didn't want it to be like you talking about the loss of him because I wasn't. I don't.
No. But I'm saying
he deserves to be celebrated. You know.
Right, but that's part of the celebration, right? The celebration is he's going to be elsewhere, and his mark on the Washington D.C. sports scene simply cannot be understated. Like he influenced a lot. We talked about Ozzy, right? Like influencing a lot of people. Dan Steinberg influenced a lot of people. Like a lot of people loved his writing. A lot of people loved what he did and what he meant to the D.C. sports fan. And he set a lot of people on a journalism track. And he like I said, is one of the most influential Washington D.C. sports people. Period. And I am glad that I got to share a part of my career with him because he is that special, and there'll never be another person like Dan.
I totally agree, and I'm not sitting here without Steins. I went back, I reset my life when I was 26, went back to school, and I started blogging all the time. And I remember the first time, I believe, Steinberg quoted me in the sports blog. It was after Sean Taylor passed away, and I had written my thoughts. And for me to be included in the DC sports blog made me think, dude, maybe I can actually do this. You know what I mean?
You're not alone. There's a lot of those sentiments. Yeah.
100%.
There's a lot of those sentiments on Twitter.
Freaking titan.
Yes. And he was happy to do that. Like, he was happy to elevate people's voices in different parts of DC blogosphere, and he sought that out. I mean, he was not elitist by any means. He was inclusive, and he was really good at that.
And is really good at all. He's got a great gig coming, and I'm excited for him. But I just wanted us to have a proper Steinberg appreciation moment. Greenberg, appreciate you, buddy. Thanks.
Take care, brother.
I love you guys. Talk to you soon.
All right,
See you, buddy. That's our boy, Neil Greenberg. He's one of the best at what he does. You know who else is one of the best at what they do? The Osbourne Automotive Group of Virginia. They've been serving D.C. area car buyers for over 100 years. When you go that long, you're doing something right. No pause, B. Conveniently, they've got locations all over Northern Virginia, from Alexandria to Chantilly, and they got it all, baby. Toyota, Kia, Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep. I was just texting with Garv Galati from Osbourne Fairfax Toyota. They take care of you. Chevy, Buick, GMC, whatever it is, they've got an unmatched selection, incredible deals, and great financing. And B, let's not forget about that Osbourne Lifetime Edge.
Yep, they give you the Osbourne Lifetime Edge, and that comes with over $1,500 in extras, including complimentary car washes with every scheduled maintenance, loaner cars with every major maintenance, and they give you the lifetime engine guarantee. And if you're trying to sell a car, take it to Osbourne. They'll pay you up to 125% of the Kelley Blue Book value, regardless of its make, model, or year. It's simple at Osbourne. They like to keep their customers happy, just like they did JP and I. To beyond satisfied Osbourne customers.
I might need a call. My car's stuck in a ditch.
Yeah.
This sports update is brought to you by Door Pro America Garage Door Service. Go with the pros at Door Pro America. The Nationals are looking to sweep the Reds this afternoon in a series finale. First pitch coming up at 12:05 p.m. Michael Soroka is on the mound for Washington. The Nationals took last night's matchup 6-1, securing their first series win since the beginning of the month. Someone to watch out for, Brady House. So far this series, we have seen his defense shine, but he's heating up at the plate too. Brady House is 15 for 39 with 3 doubles, 2 home runs, and 6 RBI over his past 10 games. Stay right here so you can listen to this matchup live. 12:05 p.m. is first pitch on 106.7 The Fan. Go with the pros at Door Pro America. From spring repair or replacement or a brand new garage door to boost your home's curb appeal. Call 877-DOOR-PRO today and ask how you can save $60 on a repair or $150 on a brand new garage door. Visit doorproamerica.com. From the Crop Medcap 5-Star Sports Desk, Savannah McCann on The Fan.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
You behind me in the club.
BMitch and Finlay 106.7 The Fan. First day of training camp in the books, man. Solid practice for the boys. One note worth mentioning. Dan Quinn talked about Noah Brown today and did say there's going to be a bit of a ramp-up period for the receiver. Remember, there was that, what looked to be a serious injury, ended up okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Quinn takes care of his veterans. Like Noah Brown's going to get some rest days. Clearly, nothing to worry about. That's kind of my stance.
Yeah. One thing, Zach Ertz stated it. DQ takes care of veteran players. All right, and I understand that people there will be someone to say, "Well, that happened way in training camp. He's still affected by it." Whether he's affected by it or not, they're gonna ramp him up slowly.
Right.
That's all that matters. You know, and veterans are appreciative of that.
Right.
You know, some people just crazy, like I was. I just wanted to go hard all the time.
Update about my car. Greg is here and just texted me.
But he got his tone strap. I don't know if that's going to help you get out.
He just texted me, oh boy.
Really? So it could be worse? It probably slid down into it now?
No, it's in the same spot. I put the parking brake on. But
JP, parking brake don't stop stuff from sliding down mud.
as long as it doesn't rain, we're good.
I wanted to rain.
Yo, you're a hater. That's bona fide hating.
No, I just want to see what happens, dog. I mean, you parked there. And you know it's raining every afternoon. You better get out of here before the afternoon comes.
So when the show concludes here in a moment, because we got Nats baseball, we're going to go work on my car.
Hey, you need some sandbags.
Bobby Wagner's talking at noon. I might be digging my car out of a ditch.
That's hilarious.
All right, G Height's going to get it done. It has four-wheel drive. I just am going to let Greg drive it up the hill.
I mean, you have to back out.
I was here once. I don't know if you remember this. This is somebody that used to work here that doesn't anymore, but when we all had to park out there, and it was like a really bad weather day. It was like freezing rain, sleet, all that, and this person was driving a very dope but like sports car, and they got just stuck.
It was white, wasn't it?
It was white.
I know the story you're talking about right now.
All right. Awesome day today. Training camp's in the books. Terry ain't here, but nobody here is worried. Maybe let that guide how worried you are. All right?
Yeah.
Thank you to Mark Seagraves for joining us. Thank you to Neil Greenberg for joining us. Tomorrow you'll hear from Frankie Louvu. Awesome conversation there. Nats baseball coming up next. Thanks for listening. You made it this far. I owe you a tow truck.